How I discovered my passion for pantyhose. I've always carried a secret, one so deeply buried it seemed woven into the very fabric of my being. It wasn't the kind of secret you could casually drop into conversation. It was delicate, personal, and forbidden. The origins of this yearning were rooted in my childhood. While other boys immersed themselves in games of rough and tumble, I found myself enchanted by the softness of fabrics and the elegance of femininity. It began innocently enough, my fascination with pantyhose. Their silky texture and sheer delicacy captivated me in ways I couldn't explain, even to myself. As I grew older, that innocent intrigue evolved, morphing into something more profound, something I could no longer ignore. The idea of slipping into a dress, of embracing an identity so unlike the one assigned to me, stirred an exhilaration that was both thrilling and terrifying. The opportunity to explore my hidden desire didn't present itself until college. With my newfound independence and long stretches of solitude at home, curiosity began to overshadow fear. One evening, as boredom gnawed at the edges of my mind, I felt a surge of courage. My heart pounded as I quietly slipped into my mother's room, every step a mix of trepidation and exhilaration. The room felt sacred in that moment, its neatly arranged contents a treasure trove of possibilities. My eyes landed on a beautiful dress draped over the back of a chair, its fabric shimmering faintly under the soft light. Nearby, a pair of high heels beckoned, and a pair of pantyhose lay folded neatly in a drawer. My hands trembled as I reached for them, guilt and excitement battling for dominance. Piece by piece, I transformed. The dress slid over my frame, its smooth fabric an almost electric sensation against my skin. The heels elevated me both physically and emotionally, while the pantyhose completed the ensemble, their delicate texture a reminder of why I had begun this journey in the first place. As I stood before the mirror, I didn't see a nervous young man. Instead, I saw someone radiant, confident, and free, someone I had always wanted to be. The hours flew by as I immersed myself in this newfound identity. I watched makeup tutorials, experimenting with eyeliner and lipstick, learning how to hold myself with grace. Each detail mattered. How I walked, the way I held my hands, the subtle shift in my posture. I wasn't just trying on clothes. I was stepping into a version of myself that felt authentic in a way I hadn't experienced before. What began as an occasional indulgence soon became a routine. Whenever I had the chance, I'd dive into this secret world, perfecting my transformation. The euphoria was indescribable, but so was the risk. Over time, I began to take small, calculated chances. I started wearing pantyhose beneath my jeans, a discreet nod to my hidden self. Feeling their silky embrace against my skin throughout the day was both comforting and exhilarating. But secrets have a way of unraveling. One afternoon, I sat across from my mother during lunch, the two of us chatting casually about our day. In a moment of clumsiness, I dropped my spoon. As I bent down to retrieve it, I forgot about the pantyhose peeking out beneath the hem of my trousers. When I straightened, my mother's eyes were fixed on me, her expression a mix of curiosity and confusion. "What's that you're wearing?" she asked, her voice gentle but probing. Panic surged through me, and my mind raced for an explanation. "Oh, these?" I stammered, forcing a laugh. "They're, compression socks. For football practice. They're supposed to help with circulation and reduce muscle strain." She tilted her head, studying me intently. Her silence felt like an eternity, and I could feel my pulse thundering in my ears. Finally, she nodded, though her expression remained tinged with skepticism. "Well, if they're helping you, that's good," she said, offering a faint smile before returning to her meal. Relief washed over me, but it was short-lived. That fleeting moment of exposure had shaken me, a stark reminder of the delicate balance I was walking. While the world outside continued to see one version of me, the truth lingered just beneath the surface, fragile yet undeniable. And as I cleared the table that afternoon, I couldn't help but wonder, how long could I keep this secret before the cracks began to show? Nearly exposed, I knew I had to be more careful. My secret wasn't just a hidden part of me, It was the thread holding my fragile world together. That close call with my mother felt like a warning, and from that day forward, I vowed to tread more cautiously, protecting the delicate balance between my inner desires and the mask I wore for the world. But I didn't realize then that this moment of near discovery wasn't the end of my journey. It was only the beginning. A path filled with challenges, self-discovery, and moments of reckoning lay ahead, demanding I confront not only my affection for pantyhose, but the deeper truths about my identity. The weight of nearly being caught lingered for days, an anxious reminder that my secret was far from safe. Yet, amid the tension, my longing to embrace my hidden persona grew stronger, like an ember quietly fanned into flame. Those stolen moments of self-expression had left an indelible mark on me, stirring a yearning that refused to be silenced. I turned to the internet for solace and answers, diving into forums and communities where others like me shared their stories. Reading their triumphs and struggles was like discovering a secret language I had always known but never heard spoken aloud. Their words gave me hope and guidance, inspiring me to refine my craft. I immersed myself in the art of transformation, teaching myself the intricacies of makeup application and experimenting with colors and contours to bring out my feminine side. Each sweep of blush, every flick of eyeliner, felt like a step closer to understanding the person I was meant to be. But I quickly learned that cross-dressing was more than clothes or cosmetics. It was about inhabiting femininity in its fullest form. I studied how to walk with confidence in heels, how to move my hands delicately, and how to soften my voice into a gentle, melodic tone. Styling wigs became a ritual, each strand carefully adjusted until it felt natural, authentic. With every practice session, I saw glimpses of the woman I longed to become, and that vision filled me with both pride and longing. Slowly, the line between my male and female selves began to blur. Cross-dressing wasn't a passing phase or a hobby, it was part of me, as vital as breath. With growing confidence, I started taking small steps into the outside world, presenting as my true self in spaces where anonymity provided a shield. Each venture was a mix of fear and exhilaration. The world felt vast and judgmental, but the thrill of walking into it as the woman I knew I was outweighed the fear. I felt alive in a way I never had before, each step forward pulling me deeper into my authentic self. Yet, with each bold move, the weight of my secret grew heavier. I couldn't shake the desire to share this part of me with someone, to be seen and accepted for who I really was. College life buzzed on, a whirlwind of classes, conversations, and budding friendships. Amid the crowd, one person stood out, Alexa. She was bold, vibrant, and unapologetically herself, with a warmth that drew people in. Over the months, we'd grown close, bonding over late-night talks and shared laughter. Her open-mindedness gave me hope, a glimmer that maybe, just maybe, she could accept this hidden part of me. One crisp evening, we found ourselves at our favorite cafe, tucked into a quiet corner with cups of steaming coffee. The familiar hum of conversation and the soft clink of mugs created a bubble around us, and I felt a sudden surge of courage. I looked at her across the table, her eyes filled with curiosity and kindness. My heart raced as I weighed the words I wanted to say, knowing this moment could change everything. Alexa leaned in, her eyes alive with a spark of curiosity. "You know," she began warmly, "it's incredible when people find the strength to be their true selves. It takes courage to step outside society's expectations and just be." Her words lingered, wrapping around me like a soft embrace, stirring something deep inside. For a moment, I teetered on the edge of confession, my heart pounding with the weight of my secret. I wanted to tell her. I needed to tell her. But fear gripped me, doubt weaving a tight cocoon around my courage. What if this changed everything? What if she pulled away? Still, her sincerity was a light in my storm, and I decided to trust it. "Alexa," I began, my voice shaky, my breath hitching as the words fought their way out. "There's something I've been carrying, a part of me I've never shared with anyone." Her brow furrowed slightly in concern, but her touch was steady as she placed her hand over mine. Go on, she said gently, her tone coaxing yet patient. The words felt like stones on my tongue, heavy and unyielding, but I forced them out. I'm a crossdresser, I admitted, the confession barely above a whisper. I couldn't meet her eyes, bracing myself for the fallout. For a fleeting second, her expression shifted. Surprise, perhaps, or the effort of processing. But then, a smile broke across her face, warm and genuine. Thank you for telling me, she said softly. That takes so much bravery. And just so you know, it doesn't change how I see you. You're still you, the person I care about. Relief crashed over me like a wave, and I felt lighter than I had in years. Her acceptance felt like a lifeline, pulling me from the depths of isolation. Encouraged by her words, I opened up about my journey, how it began, how it shaped me, and the fears that still lingered. Alexa listened without judgment, her support unwavering. In the weeks that followed, she became my confidant and my partner in discovery. Together, we ventured into boutiques, selecting outfits that felt like extensions of my true self. We laughed as we fumbled through makeup tutorials, celebrating every small victory and embracing every mishap. Each moment with her was a reminder that I wasn't alone, that I could be seen and loved for who I truly was. Yet, even as my bond with Alexa deepened, the memory of my mother's curious gaze in the kitchen lingered, a reminder of the walls that still stood between me and full acceptance. I knew I had to bridge that gap, no matter how terrifying it seemed. One quiet evening, as the house settled into a hushed calm, I found myself sitting across from my mother. The soft light cast gentle shadows, but the air between us felt heavy with unspoken truths. Mom, I began, my voice trembling. There's something I need to tell you. It's important. She looked at me, her eyes a mix of love and concern. What is it, sweetheart? She asked, reaching for my hand. Tears pricked at the corners of my eyes as I drew a deep breath, summoning every ounce of courage. I'm a crossdresser, I said, the words breaking free at last. It's something I've carried with me for so long. It's part of who I am. For a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. Her face was unreadable, her silence stretching into eternity. Then, slowly, her lips curved into a gentle smile, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. My child, she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. Thank you for sharing this with me. I may not understand everything, but I love you, and I always will. Her words shattered the walls I had built around myself, and I felt a flood of gratitude and relief. She asked questions, genuinely curious and eager to learn, and together we began to navigate this new chapter of our relationship. As my truth began to ripple outward, to friends, to family, I braced for judgment, for rejection. But instead, I found understanding and support in places I hadn't expected. My friendships deepened, and I felt a growing sense of belonging as those around me embraced the person I was becoming. With their encouragement, I took even bolder steps. I refined my craft, ventured further into public spaces as my authentic self, and even started a blog to share my journey. Writing became my outlet, a way to connect with others, to inspire and be inspired. Still, a question lingered, heavy and unresolved. Would the world ever truly accept people like me? Would society learn to celebrate the beauty of individuality? Or would I forever navigate a world that saw me as an enigma, a secret to be hidden? For now, I chose to hold on to hope. Hope for a future where diversity wasn't feared but embraced, where people like me could walk openly in the light without fear of judgment. And with every step I took, I moved closer to that vision, one bold stride at a time.